Hello and welcome back to my RC channel. I'm AndyRC and today I'm checking out the Eachine E50 from Banggood.com. Now they say that this is one of the cheapest ready to fly. Hang on a second. That's not it. Let me just... Oh, you see, it's happened again. I've gone and reached for the Eachine E50 and instead I've picked up the Zerotech Dobby. Oh, that's always happening. I have no idea how. There we go. Anyways, so let's not beat around the bush. The Eachine E50 is a toy grade version of the Dobby and it's a huge fraction of the price as well. As I was saying before I interrupted myself, it's one of the cheapest quadcopters out there. It costs about $40, so you aren't going to get the same features out of it as you do the Dobby. So there is no GPS, doesn't have any of the sensors underneath. However, it is interesting though, because the arms fold out just like the Dobby, and these are brushed motors and there are really tiny little gears in there, and that is pretty impressive. So the motors are on their side like that and then a tiny gear, so we should get a decent flight time out of this. We have a camera up front, of course. It's not stabilized and it's not HD either, it's about 480p, but it's a really lightweight machine. We've got some LEDs on the front there. Now they say that this is very cheap. However, for this particular review, this entire setup is costing about £1,000. That is because it doesn't come with a controller, just like the Dobby. I guess that is how they are making it so cheap. But you do have to have a mobile device to fly it. So this is using Wi-Fi for its control and the FPV as well. So cheapest quadcopter, but not when you compare it together with your phone. One thing that's pretty cool about it though is it has altitude hold and it also has headless mode. Now normally I would dismiss headless mode, but it's really helpful for this sort of thing because we are flying it from the phone and therefore it has sticks on the screen, and I found those to be a little bit clumsy, but you can fly it using the gyro on your phone just like the Dobby. So with headless mode and also the gyro on your phone, you can fly it a little bit like the Dobby. Of course the camera moves up and down as well, which is quite nice. It looks like a pinhole camera, but it looks slightly wider than these really cheap ones, so I'll have to see what the field of view is like. Now the battery is interesting. We have this battery tray under here and it's a little bit tricky to get out. Just slides down and then out. The battery is a 500 milliamp one cell battery and I really like the form factor of this. I might steal this for one of my micro quadcopters, you know, the RTF ones that have acro, etc. That's pretty nice, that. Nice profile. It's using a micro Lossy connector to plug into there, so it does come with its own charger, but I can use a hobby grade charger with that thanks to that Lossy connector. So that's pretty much it. We have a button on the top there to turn it on, and then of course we have the app as well. So let's talk through the app. So the app is called Wi-Fi UFO, I think. Just gonna screen record here so you can view the app. So yeah, Wi-Fi UFO, let's get it open. And then we have some settings down here first of all, so you can change the sticks on the screen to mode 1. See where it says right hand mode there? So that's pretty cool, but I'm not going to use that feature today. That's going to surprise a lot of you, but we'll see. So if I just go into the play there, I'm not connected to the quadcopter at the moment, but I'll talk you through all the buttons. So this first button here just takes you back to that main screen. Next one starts a photograph, and then the one after that starts video, and then we have our media there. So there's no SD card with this one, or built-in hard drive on the quadcopter. Everything is just screen recorded onto the phone. So then we have got our rates, and that goes from 30 to 100%. And then we have the 360-degree flip button. This next one that looks like an hourglass sort of thing, that is altitude hold. And then the one after that is gyro, so it's going to use the gyro of your phone. And then the off button there actually binds it to the quadcopter. If you press it, you'll get the sticks on the screen and also bind to the quadcopter. Then we've got some more settings down here. We've got rev, that's going to reverse the camera, but hopefully won't have to do that. And then we've got this, it looks like a book here, but it's not. It is actually side-by-side mode if you're using VR goggles. I'm not going to be using that. Then underneath there we've got headless mode, and after that it is one key, not return, one key calibration. So hopefully I won't need to do that, but if you're having problems with this quadcopter, you can press that when it's on a level surface, and hopefully that should fix any issues. Right, so that's everything in the app. The next thing to do is connect it to the quadcopter. So I'm going to turn the quadcopter on here by pressing the on button, and then I'm going to go into the Wi-Fi settings on the phone and hopefully find the hotspot. So it's connected already there, it's reconnected to it from previously. It says Eachine there. So now I'm going to open the Wi-Fi UFO app and then press play, and hopefully I should get video, so I do. So the lights are flashing on the quad at the moment, so I need to press the off button, and that brings the controls up. And I also need to press the altitude hold button there, so I have done that, and now we can take off and land, etc. I'm going to press gyro on the phone. Then on the settings I'm going to go into headless mode, and I'll show you why. I'm going to turn the rates up to 100 because it's quite a windy day here today, and I'm also going to start video recording as well. So the moment of truth, let's press the takeoff button and then lift the throttle up, and there we go. Pretty uneventful so far. I'm going to lift the throttle up a little bit. I really don't like these on-screen sticks. There we go. Look at that. Not bad. The control is really good. It's not delayed at all. Okay, so the idea with this is that we now can yaw around just like the Dobby, and now it flies the same with the phone, and we kind of can mimic what the Dobby can do. So if I just lift it up here and see if we can do a bit of a selfie, lift it up a little bit higher. Getting blown around in the wind a little bit. Whoa, it's very windy. So I'm not quite in shot there, and I have accidentally pressed the yaw there. There we go. So obviously the video quality isn't going to be on par with the Dobby. No image stabilization. But it does work. So we have 4:3 there on the picture. It's getting blown around by the wind, but it does work. The control on this is pretty impressive. Let's see if I can try the 360-degree flip function. You see that doesn't seem to be working, so I wonder if that's perhaps a repurposed function, because it's not doing anything there. Maybe you have to press it and then, or maybe it only works when you are not using the gyro, I don't know. It's flying so well. And what you could do technically is, because forwards is always forward, I guess you could kind of get it to do a sort of follow me by just tilting the phone slightly as you're walking. Okay, it's not as good as the functions on the Dobby, but $40, it's not bad. Yeah, flight time doesn't seem too bad either. Let's just swivel it around. I don't want to take it too far away because it's Wi-Fi, so you're only going to be good for 30 meters or so. But I have to say, I'm more than impressed. They're getting better at these Wi-Fi controlled quadcopters. As I say, I think I'm always going to struggle with no sticks on the screen. But what's interesting about this is the resolution on the phone is better than you get with a transmitter. Usually you get toy grade transmitters with these. They have those Xbox style pots that I talk about all the time, and you move the stick and the thing just goes crazy like that. There's a lot of deadband, I guess you would say. But with this, the smallest of movements on the phone is causing the smallest of movements on the quadcopter, and that is impressive. So the video's been going for 4 minutes there, because I can see how long it's been recording for. I just want to stop the recording a second and then start it again, just so I've got something to show, because you're never sure when you are reviewing these quadcopters if it just cuts the video when the battery runs out and then you lose your video. Hopefully that's not the case with this one. Let's just bring it down a little bit, take a look at this a little bit more, yaw it around. The controls are working really nicely, and that altitude hold is just rock solid. Like I said, I flew it indoors and it worked really nicely indoors. I don't usually recommend flying stuff like this indoors, especially the Dobby aircraft with its brushless motors, but this one, it has crash detection. So if you crash it indoors, it stops the motor straight away, and you have to restart the app before you can fly it again, which is pretty nice. So actually, as an indoor quadcopter, better than the Dobby. But obviously not when it comes to video and stabilization, etc. But I would say that if you have no experience flying quadcopters, stick this in headless mode and altitude hold mode like I am, and forward is always forward and the roll is always the same, and I don't think you struggle flying it that much, especially with that crash detection. Pretty, you know, bulletproof in that sense. I really like it. And you do get some spare props in the package, which is more than I can say for the Dobby, although I do believe they sell the propellers now for the Dobby. So what are we looking at there? So we've been flying for 5 minutes, so that's really all I expected to get out of this thing. I like how you can angle the camera. Oh, it looks like it's landing itself and it stopped the propellers. So let's stop the video recording if I can. And it seems to have frozen the video there, so maybe that's something that it does. Hopefully it's saved the video so we can look at it. So there you go, that is my review of the Eachine E50 Dobby clone, I guess you would say. I like it, you know. It works really well with the phone in headless mode, quite surprising. I'll put a link in the description if you wish to get one. So as always, thanks so much for watching. Please continue to subscribe. Cheers.